Hello and welcome to another episode of The Dirty Birder. My name is Joe Glass. I am a birder and bird photographer based in Pennsylvania, and we are back. It has been quite some time since my last video, but I am hoping to make this a more consistent thing and get kind of more in the groove of what you guys want. So if you have any recommendations for future videos, be sure to comment them down below of what you want to see, maybe some problems you might have in the field that I might be able to help with. So with that said, this is the video on the 2024 Federal Duck Stamp Contest. Since its founding in 1934, winning first place at the Federal Duck Stamp Contest has been one of the most prestigious awards given to anyone in the wildlife art community. Competing artists from across the nation spend months and sometimes even years perfecting their paintings in hopes of being chosen as this year's Federal Duck Stamp champion. Artists choose from a selection of 5 species of waterfowl per year, which change year to year. This year, entrants could choose from brant geese, northern shoveler, greater scaup, spectacled eider, and hooded merganser. 239 hand-painted pieces of art from across the nation went into this year's contest. Now you might be asking yourself, what is the big deal? It's just a stamp. Well, this specific stamp is single-handedly responsible for restoring and protecting over 6 million acres of wetland habitat for waterfowl across the US. The stamp also isn't just a stamp, as its primary use is for waterfowl hunters, giving them permission to hunt for the year. It's also important to note that 98% of the sales from the stamp go directly into conservation. Another little known fact about the stamp is that it can be used as a free pass into any national wildlife refuge that requires an entry fee, meaning you don't have to hunt to buy one. You can buy it as a fan, as a collector, a conservationist. Now, I had no idea really what I was getting into at all with this. In fact, the whole reason I ended up going to the contest at all was because my friend Michael Kensinger, who was a wildlife artist competing in the contest, had mentioned it to me. So as much as I didn't know about the contest, I was fortunate enough, right as I walked in, to get directed to last year's winner, Chuck Black.
Well, I'm Chuck Black. I'm an artist, and I had the fortune last year of winning the Federal Duck Stamp Contest. So I had been painting ducks since I was a kid, probably like 10 or 12. I was really interested in it, but the first time I entered the contest was when I think I was 21 years old, if I remember right. And that whole gap in between, I was intimidated and I didn't think that I would stand a chance, which I probably didn't, but yeah, it took me a long time to work up the courage to enter. But once I did start entering, I started to realize that just the act of participating and getting involved really started to excel my progression as an artist. So after you win the contest, June 28th is the first day of sale. So you win in September, and then it was like a big wait period. So it really, not a lot happened for the majority of this year. But the last couple months have been pretty incredible. Just the amount of people that I get to meet and I get to network with. I've got new relationships with different wildlife organizations like Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl. And it's been really neat just having the opportunities that I've been able to have just in the last couple months. And then of course it's been a good boost to my art career as well. So it's all positive all the way around.
Moving on to the judging of the contest itself. Every entrant that follows the guidelines and speculations is eligible and will be judged in the contest. There were originally 245 entries this year, and 6 got knocked off. So this means 239 paintings were all viewed by 5 judges, one after the other. After each painting is viewed, the judges will be asked to vote. In the first round, and the first round only, the judges will vote either in or out. If you get the majority of 3 out of 5 in votes, you move on to round 2. Entry number 103 was Michael's, and I knew his goal was to get 1 more in vote than last year when he received 3. Even though this moment would last a few seconds, I realized that this was months worth of hard work. Months worth of mixing paint and staring and readjusting and blotting out, all boiling down to a single moment that 5 people would raise their hands and either say, "It's good enough," or "Try again next year." Luckily, Michael achieved his goal this year and got 4 out of 5 in votes, sending his painting to the next round. Though this kind of pressure is the case for a lot of people that enter the contest, I managed to meet one person in the event that couldn't give two shits about how many votes that he got.
Well, my name is Rob McBroom. I've been entering this contest for 24 years, and I'm here to watch my entry go down in flames. But it actually did pretty well for me, where it got 1 out of 5 in votes. The reason it will go down in flames almost exclusively is because I don't do conventional, realistic entries. They're filled with corporate logos and glitter and rhinestones, so it's like pop and folk and lowbrow art all mixed in the one. On the conservation end of it, I would say if I did this the normal way that everyone else does, it wouldn't get the attention that I have received for it. And it wouldn't bring in that audience, and we need more and more of that because sales for the stamps are declining. There's a declining number of hunters. I think it topped out in the late 70s or early 80s for stamp sales, and it's been on a slow decline ever since. So I would imagine that if you could open it up to more styles, I'm not pushing for it, I'm not super lobbying for this thing because I don't want to screw up the program either. But I think if you had something that was a little more stylized or a little more abstracted, it would, in equal contention, it would bring a bigger audience in.
So after a somewhat exhausting day one of judging, I ended up going back to my hotel with somewhat of a different perspective on the contest. That's because not a whole lot of people were actually entering in order to win the contest and for the fame and the recognition. It turned out that most people were either entering for one of two reasons. One being just for the tradition of it all and for the conservation involved within the duck stamp contest itself. Another reason that people tend to enter is that they are in a competition almost with themselves and they're trying to get more invotes year to year and just improve year to year.
So yesterday I got 4 ins at the day 1 of the federal duck stamp contest. That's the most I've ever had. Consecutively, the last several years I've gotten 0, 1, 2, 3, and this year 4. So I'm really hoping for a good score today in round 2. They're gonna really nitpick, shrink the designs down to see how they reproduce as a stamp. And no matter what happens, I'm really happy with what I did because I outdid myself once again. So it's all about the personal journey and the growth with this contest, supporting the contest. And nobody ever enters the federal duck stamp expecting to win, but that's of course the big prize. So
between day 1 and 2, each judge can, on their own, select up to 5 paintings to re-enter into the contest that did not receive enough invotes. They may also not select any if they choose. After these are selected and re-entered, day 2 of judging begins. This day, there were 4 paintings re-selected to be re-entered for a total of 85 paintings to be judged by the same 5 judges. Only this time, they would raise a number 1 to 5. The numbers would then be added, and the top 5 highest scores would then go to the 3rd round of judging. This means that more than 5 could go to round 3 if there are a lot of tying scores within the top 5. Now, unfortunately, round 2 is where Michael's painting got stopped in the competition. It had a combined score of 14, but compared to last year's score that he had of 10, it was a definite improvement for the year and a definite win overall for the entire year for him and his entry. Now, John Brennan, on the other hand, did manage to make it into round 3. And I was able to catch up with him and ask why exactly he picked the species that he picked, being one of the less popular species in the contest itself.
I picked brant geese this year, and I partially picked it because it's sort of a normal looking goose. It's not too awkward looking. It's more unassuming, and I knew it would not be a very popular species in the contest because people don't often think to paint them. But oddly enough, it's the 2nd least popular this year, and the least popular is the greater scaup, which is the most ducky looking duck out of all of them.
Now, while John's painting did make it into round 3, at the end of the day, there were only 3 top spots that could take the ribbons at the end of the contest. This year, the winner was obvious, but places 2 and 3 still had some separate rounds of sudden death to go through before they could be named. So now I'll show you the official results of the 2024 Federal Duck Stamp Contest.
Unfortunately, the assistant director, Jerome, had to leave to catch his plane, but we're going to have Suzanne Fellows come over and announce the 3rd, 2nd place winners and the winner of this year's federal duck stamp contest. Suzanne, come on over.
This is great. I'm so glad that you had to leave. Okay. So in third place, Abraham Hunter. With a good nerve answer that he did in oil. So is Abraham happen to be in the audience? No. Okay. Nice. Okay. So number 2. Second place. Rebecca Knight. Deepwater, and there she is. Yep, Deepwater, Missouri. With an oil painting. Oh, and it's Hindenburg answers. Congratulations. Rebecca is in the audience. This is the second time that Rebecca has had a second place. So congratulations. Okay, and then for all of you who didn't know, the first place winner is a 3-time winner, Mr. Adam Grimm from Wallace, South Dakota. With his acrylic painting of spectacled otters. Congratulations, Adam.
All in all, the Federal Duck Stamp Contest was an awesome time. It was great to meet so many new people, whether that be artists or conservationists or people that were running the event, and to see how much passion they had for the Federal Duck Stamp definitely left an impression on me, and that is essentially why I'm making this video, because the biggest problem is that the Federal Duck Stamp is decreasing in sales year to year. I wanted to make this video to kind of just raise awareness and make people aware that everyday people can buy the stamp as a collector's item, and that will in turn go directly into conservation. And another announcement is on my website, I now have some new merch that you can pick up. There's only 2 shirt designs so far, but I'm using the photos that I take from some of the other videos that you might have seen and putting them on shirts. So, and all of the funds from that will go directly into supporting this channel, getting new equipment, doing new reviews, all of that kind of stuff. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you in the next one.